What is up, everybody? We got another little video coming at you. We got Teklo's workshop back in the workshop. Today we have Florian, or Flo, or maybe you know him as Latency if you're in on the Dash.io Discord. Flo, how's it going? What got you into Flesh and Blood?
Yeah, well, it's going fine. Uh, well, Flesh and Blood was like a little bit of an upcoming game, and the locals of my old card game, so to speak, went a little bit down. I played a lot of Weiss Schwarz back in the day, but it's kind
Okay.
of dying over the time, and I wanted to have a new, more competitive card game, and I specifically didn't want to join Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon.
Fair enough, fair enough.
So
Wow,
it
that's
was Flesh
actually
and
kind of
Blood.
interesting. I don't think I've really talked to that many people who didn't come from Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh!
I mean, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! In like 2008, 2005 in the early days.
Hmm.
I dabbled a little bit with Magic, especially when Magic Arena came out. But I had my problem with both of the card games, so.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But so today we'll be going over what the meta looks like. We'll be going over the top 20 heroes for the Pro Tour meta going into Singapore. This is assuming no more LLs from now on. I think the only one really in danger of LLing is Aelia, but it kind of looks like she'll still be here by, Singapore coming around. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what you think about that, but she.
I mean, she really needs to win like one event. So,
I
I
think she can
mean,
still get one or three.
winning is always hard. She will be in the top eight. She will be present. But if she wins, it could be another hero. It's hard to say. I would definitely say like prep for it. For us, it doesn't. It changes maybe one card we bring or not bring. And yeah, so just have her in mind,
Yeah.
especially from the Dios perspective.
Yeah. At least in my list specifically, like there's only one card that she's really maybe gonna bring, and I'm bringing that card anyway because it's good versus Cinder too. But I think we'll get more into that as we start going through exactly what's going on. But with that being said, I think we'll start off with Aelia. So we've got our hardest matchups here at the top, and then we've got pretty tough 50-50s, slightly favored, and absolutely free. You can just go get lunch.
Mhm.
But so we'll start off with Aelia here. So where do you think Aelia ranks in the matchups for Dio as a pretty wide meta contender as well?
Mhm. Well, overall, I would say we are still slightly favored into her.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it comes down to firstly, who wins the dice roll,
Yeah,
and secondly, does she start with like knock the death whistle, dominate,
yeah. As an aggro
something
matchup,
like that?
it kind of depends on like who gets to like really high roll first, kind of. I mean, like if they never play a dominated red in the ledger, then I don't think there's any world you lose that game. But if
Yes.
they start turn zero, like they win the die roll turn zero, knock the death whistle, it's like, oh, this is gonna be a tough one.
I mean, if you can block it out, it's probably almost okay.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is often the problem.
Yeah.
Or, well, if you don't bring enough armor to block out the first one, that's really. Uh, and that's also like the thing you kind of have to talk about here the most. Like the most interesting piece for Dio that came with High Seas are the new gloves.
I was about to ask, how do you feel about the new tech with the tinkerings plus the adaptive plating in the feet?
Yeah. For me, I didn't really consider it when bringing it to the nationals, but after thinking about it, it's the perfect SLA attack. It's so great.
So, what exactly do those two cards do together? Like, for someone who may not know, like, why run Tinker Rings? It just makes a cog. We don't even use cogs.
Yeah. So the problem we often have, especially if Azalea starts, we don't already have an item on the board. So the adaptive plating only blocks for one. And the tinkerings, when we block with them, they create a cog, an item for free, which we can immediately use for the adaptive plating, so it blocks for 3 instead for 2, for 1. So we have like on 2 armor pieces, we have already 5 block. And if we really need to, we can also shove like the chest and the headpiece into it to block for 9, blocking with 1 card if she comes for dominate. So she has to come over 12. She has to come for more than 12 dominate, which is pretty hard on the first turn.
Yeah, especially like earlier in the game, like maybe it's only an 8 dominate, and with just those 2 cards plus 1 card from hand, we're able to stop a dominated red in the ledger, and we still have 2 equipment pieces for later. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's really important because uh, on the quarter, no, on the half finals of my World Championship qualifiers, Azalea opened with 11 dominate, and if you don't play the tinkerings, you can make the math. 2 plus 2. I started first, so I could set up a little bit, but 2 plus 2 plus 3 is 7. That's the armor. Plus 1 card, that's 10. If he comes with 11 dominate, well.
yep. I guess I'm taking 11 then, or something. I don't know. Not using the armor, definitely. Just block 1 card from hand in that case.
Uh, well, it was more like in this specific case, I still try to caching the adaptive plating because you don't always have an item you want to galvanize anyways. And it just said, look, if I get it later, I'm lucky, but
Yeah.
well.
I mean, sometimes
Then I do a 3-item hand later. That's just
that's
okay.
my plan. I'm just gonna be the main character every day, and I'm just gonna be lucky. that's that's the DOA right there. But so like going into this matchup, like they flip their hero. What exactly like are you thinking? Like whenever you win this matchup, what exactly is your game plan, and how are you executing that?
So it's just gas, gas, gas. I don't really try to take the breaks and set up too much because she can always punish you
Yeah.
with anything. If I have my full armor suite, just she didn't take any armor from me at all so far. I'm still fine with like arsenaling a boost card so we can turn on the max V as soon as it gets. But as soon as I probably even blocked with one armor piece, I'm just okay, all gas.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the same way that I'm playing the matchup. It's just like hoping that they don't early get a dominated red in the ledger or anything like that. But that's really the only like real on hit they have. Some of them are playing the one where it's like turns off your hero ability, which also kind of sucks. I hate not being able to look at the top of my deck.
Mm. Well, what also sucks is the one card. For every action you play, you lose 1 life. That's often still like
Oh
another
yeah,
like
yeah.
5 damage for free.
Honestly, that one I don't care about. That one doesn't take
I
cards
mean,
from hand.
I
Easy.
don't really care about it. I still
Yeah,
do my turn as I want to, but it's a lot of additional free damage,
yeah,
which still can lose you the game in the end. It's just uh, I'm always thinking, oh, I'm glad it's not right in the legend.
yeah. Definitely.
That's always what I'm thinking when this card comes, but it definitely hurts a lot.
Yeah, I
This
think
is really the matchup is just okay. Uh, if they don't have red in the ledger, we should win that every time. It's not really realistic. And then if she has red in the ledger, it's more like the first one you should be able to block out. And if a second one comes, for example, especially with Codex, it's not the end of the world if you have to give your whole hand, play an item, and just take the next turn. I don't mind that. Often, like, okay, Cerebrum takes down, you lose the boom grenade. I still say, whatever. We overall, I think we deal more damage.
Yeah.
Just block it out if
Yep.
you can. If you can prevent all the on hits, even that she gets on the red in the ledger, as long as that shit doesn't come for dominate, we're pretty fine.
Yeah, I agree. It's slightly favored matchup. I usually win this one, but and we do have some pretty talented Azalea players in our locals, so I feel pretty confident into Azalea. She also just might not even be here by the time Pro Tour runs around. But for any of you playing your Nats, maybe this weekend, maybe next weekend, she will definitely still be around. But next up, we've got another little matchup here that I think is kind of a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about this matchup specifically with the Syndra. Where
Mm-hmm.
exactly would you put Syndra?
Overall, I think we deal a little bit more damage if the hand lines up.
Mm-hmm.
We have the higher spike. When we lose the dice roll and draw a bad hand, then it's really tough. Or also in the top 8 if the players know who to choose first. But besides that, I think it's a perfectly 50-50.
Yeah, I agree. This has been like my testing on this one. Uh, I I agree. We do slightly out damage them, but if they find an early wrath, or if they win the die roll and choose to go first, and somehow manage like we draw 2 items in our first hand, and we start the game at like 26 or 28 or something like that. Those are a little bit rough, you know. Maybe you have to use your crown on turn 0, and it just like, it
I
just
mean,
feels bad.
I mean, if you like you said, yeah, if she wins the die roll, you draw 2 items. That's you lost two 50-50s in a row,
Yeah.
kind of. I think the chances to draw 2 items that they are quite low. I think something around 20% or even lower
Yeah.
if you build your deck properly. So you lost the 50-50, and then you also lost like a
Pain point.
20% thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like really a 1 in 10, 1 in 8 chance, whatever, something like
Mm.
that. And let's be fair, that's just an auto loss.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you
If
get that unlucky, yeah.
yeah, there's like unless you high roll the shit out of it in this situation, and Cinder also doesn't draw that great,
Mm.
then you just lose that.
Yep.
But outside of that, it depends a little bit what the Syndra brings, like links or momentum.
Mm.
Because I think if you go with a full armor suite in this matchup specifically, you can probably on 2 turns deny them the Mask of Momentum trigger.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm playing Gear Shift right now. Like, this is decent into Azalea. It lets you get one more block into something. Like, for that
Mm-hmm.
11 dominate, you would have been able to put one more in front of it. Also, into Syndra, this really allows you to go block with one more. So you can block 4 on your head and chest, and then 4 on your adaptive plating if they have 2 1-for-4 go agains. Or you could block, like, chest and feet and then like 5 here just in case they're able to do some like weird pumps or something, or maybe block a kunai or something to stop their chain.
I'm personally not on Gear Shifter, but specifically for Syndra, that's like the best piece to bring there, just
Yeah.
to well block one dagger or something, block a break point, and that's also if you draw moderately good hands, like with 3 or 4 boost cards,
Mm-hmm.
it's fine to block with a card to deny them the Mask of Momentum trigger
Yes.
if you're sure it denies them it.
Yep. I agree. I agree
But,
100%. Because
but
the game only lasts, 5 turns max. Like unless you go into a 1-to-1 scenario where it's like you're both looking for that last little punch. But that it might extend past 5 turns for then, but like you only really need the first like 3 or 4 turns, maybe 5 of denying the mask. And if you can deny mask 2 of those first 4 turns, then I think you've got the dub. But
Well, I usually say the game lasts 3 turns, and then you have a couple turns with like, okay, one of the chickens has to block.
yes, exactly. It's just, and whoever blinks first, whoever has to block first, usually is not the winner in that one. So
Yes.
hopefully, you just find like an item off the top, and you can go 2 and 2 at the end and be able to finish it off there.
Well,
But yeah,
there's like the one aspect I mean, Dash IO is a high variance deck. Sometimes you have the tempo, and then it's 3 items, and you're just okay, fuck.
yeah, sometimes that does happen, and then you just die. But that's why you just try to play them. That's why you just try to play Spark of Genius as fast as possible. Boost them off the top. Get those items out of here. They don't block right now, so they might be good later. But another thing that I've really found like very effective in this matchup is the most important boost item by far is Pulsewave Harpoon, because even a Pulsewave for 2 is usually able to strip a card from their hand, which usually is actually not only are they only blocking for 2, they're not attacking for 3, and it's also taking away a chain from their Mask of Momentum. So you're really able to get a lot of value, even off of a Pulse Wave for 2.
Yeah, the pulse wave feels really good. I still would probably say if you have like that's probably the only matchup where I would say if you see an item on top and can decide between the pulse wave and the item, to just go for the pulse wave, unless the item is like either Cerebellum or enable Cerebellum to
Yeah,
draw a card. That's like if it's a yellow boom grenade, then it depends a little bit on the current game state on the HP.
yeah,
If it's if it's a backup protocol, don't even think about it.
yeah, exactly. And it's even um like going into that, it's just like so good. It's so good to also boost an item off the top at the beginning of the game, because at least for
Mhm.
me, I'm playing Heist right now. So not only is it allowing me to get that second chain link, second or third chain link for the pulse wave, it's also allowing me to later have an on hit for Heist, because if you actually have an on hit for Heist, it allows you to go 3 wide with your pistol, or it allows you to just like set up another boom grenade later in the game. Then that's just like a huge advantage that you have, because you're stripping 2 cards from their hand, no doubt.
Yeah, Heist is like the third best card or something in the aggro matchup. The
Yeah,
Heist is insane.
yeah. Heist always is. Whenever that hits, it feels just so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the Syndra matchup. Definitely looking out for pulse play harpoons. Oh, another thing that I wanted to do was kind of do a null time zone name target for each of these heroes. So for Aelia, I would say like she doesn't really have any good ones. I guess Codex is probably like the best one to deny her like a 1 card Codex hand. But
No, the best one is
oh
knocking the
no,
death whistle.
yeah, also
It's
knock the death
not even
whistle.
a contest.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I forgot about that one.
It's always knocking the death whistle because she can search for the red in the ledger and give it dominate
Mhm.
by it, and also like
It's her only blue basically.
if she doesn't already have knocking the death whistle out, you're not afraid of codex. That's the other thing.
Yeah, yeah,
And I mean, you can say, okay, if she already has a knock in the death whistle out, and like, yeah, well, one knock in grave, uh, one red in the ledger in the grave, you can think about Codex, but probably even in that situation, I would still, with 2 unseen knocks and 2 unseen Codex, I would still call knock.
yeah, definitely. So knock the death whistle on Azalea, and then for Syndra, I actually don't play Null Time Zone at all. I take my Null Time Zones out. I run 63 in the main, and I usually just take out the two null time zones in one of the backup protocols and try to go as fast as possible. So I have less crank items. I run 14 crank items in the list total.
Hmm.
Um, but into that matchup, I only have 11 crank items, so it goes a little bit low on being able to crank. But it's still they're no blocks. I mean, you don't really have the resources to like do everything. I don't know. I just don't really enjoy the null time zones versus them. But what about you?
Um, I usually run them. I have a few targets for them, but generally, would actually agree with you to just not to just side them out if you can, if you have the deck space, because like it's always you see them, you crank them, the next card is a boom grenade, and you think, fuck.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but it's like, what do you even name? It's like literally every single one of their
Mm.
cards is the same card. So it's like you just kind of got to get lucky on hitting either Rising Resentment or Claw, Brand with Cinder Claw, or I don't know, maybe like Art of the Dragonfire if it's late in the game. But that one just seems like there's too many things that you can name.
Yeah, the art of the dragon cards, like blood or fire or something,
Or
are
maybe even
usually the
Throw
best
Dagger.
target.
Throw Dagger would be pretty good too, because it's like it's one of their what 6 or 9 blues, uh, that they do want to be pitching.
Yeah, pitching or playing from hand.
Stops them from drawing a card. Stops 1 damage. But I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really play the card versus them, so.
Oh, I think specifically just not playing the Null Time Zone versus Cinder is definitely the way to go.
Mm. All right. Well, then we'll move on to our next matchup here. We actually have kind of a little dark horse. So after looking at all of the win rate percentages that we've seen so far in Nats, we actually have a tie for third place. I can't remember the third deck. My bad on the research on this one, but we have Dio and Kassai, and there's another deck that has. They all have 55% win rates. So a tie for third place behind Verdance and Gravy is Kassai coming in as a dark horse. I don't know how much matchup knowledge you have into Kassai, but for me, I would honestly kind of put her maybe like in between 50-50 and pretty tough. Um, just because her ability to switch between aggressive and being able to fatigue us is just so good. Like, it's just so hard to pivot between the two.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty scary. I never played against good ones. I played against a couple of them on Tolly Shore, but never on a tournament. Uh, well, the general game plan of them is to assemble gold or copper
Yeah.
tokens and then just have like one big turn where they come for 20, 25.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. And every time they attack, we don't really want to block, so they kind of get uh, their money generation for free,
Mm-hmm.
and that's definitely something for them. So it's you can't play a fatigue game plan versus them; they are too fast for it.
Yeah, that's the real problem is that if
Hmm.
you try to play your full fatigue game plan, then they just go hard. But if they try to like if they can't just fatigue you too. So if you just run, even the 66 cards
Lead
that I run
60.
into yeah, if you run lane 60, you're definitely getting fatigued. Like no doubt about that.
Yeah,
But into
yeah,
this I would run the
probably.
66. I would just throw in the three throttles and keep out the Teklo pounders and the amplifier.
Mm-hmm.
And I would definitely just be running the pistol as well. I think we'll get into Hanabi later, but yeah, just the
Mm-hmm.
66 cards into Kassai is what I would do. And also, like, since we're doing that, you're also playing the Null Time Zone, so I'm not exactly sure what the name is there. I mean, like, maybe
I
Drop
mean, she
Sword?
plays like one card that allows her to go off. Just if you really, if you happen to run into one, you can always, before the match begins, after you have seen the hero, you can look at your notes,
Yeah.
and it doesn't say where those notes need to be. So
Yeah.
you're even allowed to look at digital notes.
Yeah.
So in this case, just open Talishar.
Oh.
Look, yeah,
Can you do that?
Talishar, no, February. Uh, just type in like the hero name and then look for, I think it's a yellow card or something. It's 1/3 of
Are
they
you talking about the
play.
one that makes allies? Or are you talking about blood in her
No,
hands?
I think it's blood. Wait,
Yeah.
I will
If they're
just
like
search it.
if they're blood in their hand, I don't think I've ever gotten hit by that by them because it's like they don't really have the time to actually set up that. Most of the time, I just get fatigued by Kassai. If I lose the game, it's because they just fatigue me. They
Well,
just block
that's
out.
like that's the problem about Kassai. Uh, they just they just fatigue you.
Yeah,
They just fatigue you, and they also have like as I said, the free attack. You, you don't want to block them,
yeah.
and they have their token generation for free. So wait, where is that? Yeah, it's blood in her on her hands.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
card.
I don't think that they really have the time to actually like set up a big blood in our hands turn against us. But they do just have the ability like they just if we take an off turn, then they can come back for 15 damage. If we come at them with, 20 something damage, they can block like 18 of it. Like it's just
Mhm.
that's what makes it so tough. I think in this matchup something that's really really good is T-Bone. If you're able to double
Mhm.
T-Bone early, like especially with like if you have blue T-Bone, then that's super good because they're wasting so much value on their equipment. Whenever that equipment
Mhm.
later could be used to block out a boom grenade, it could be used to block out a heist or a max V turn. So T-Bone in this matchup is actually super good just to strip them of their early
Mhm.
equipment.
Yeah. Well, I kind of have to disagree with you that I
Mm-hmm.
think they can play it pretty often. Like usually, if she can't, what she wants to do is like to block out the boom grenades, and if you don't have a boom grenade, she keeps like one card where she attacks with. She gets the free gold or the free copper. That's just how she accumulates resources. And
Yeah,
if you play like 6 to 7 turns, she definitely has enough to swing for, I don't know, 20 or something.
yeah,
But that also comes down to, well, she de- she holds this card in arsenal for a long time, and I think what you wanted to say is more like uh, it's not effective if she doesn't have a full hand, but that's exactly that. If you set up, if you draw a brick, she has a full hand, and she comes with so much gas to you.
yeah.
That's the thing which you have to be afraid of.
This is definitely like one of the more skillful matchups that we have against. I think if you're inexperienced against like a deck that can flip between fatigue and aggro, then it's going to be really tough for you. But I feel like the more experience you have into it, the easier it gets. Like being able to set up like a big combo turn where you can do, 30 plus damage is like that's basically how you have to win this. Like maybe being able to do a double max V turn or something is
Mhm.
kind of like where you need to be to actually be able to win this matchup specifically.
Yes. So specifically against her, I would just say the best thing you probably can do is just not to crank your boom grenades.
Yeah,
Uh,
this is one of
and
those where it's
just
like you see a boom grenade off the top, no crank. Let's see if you can block this out, and then
mhm,
we'll go into next turn with an even. And like if you're not cranking the boom grenade, also in those matchups, you always want to like end with a boost card in your arsenal. You don't want to
mhm,
just throw your whole hand at them because then it's like oh well, if I draw like item max V or something, like then this boom grenade gets wasted. So it's like you always want to make sure that you
Mhm.
have at least some pressure coming for the boom grenade next turn.
Yeah, that's the setup you want to do. Like play an item from top, probably not crank it. Set up an item in arsenal. I mean, it's a little bit wasted resources because if you would crank it, you could often like attack 2 times with the pistol, but it's
Yeah.
still less than if the boom grenade connects, and then the next turn you come with a 5 card hand and hopefully connect. That's the way you have to
100%.
play it.
Okay, so yeah, we've got Kassai and the pretty tough, and then we've going down, we've got the menace of the format. Best deck in format, as everybody likes to talk about. We've got Gravy Bones, Mr. Bones. Where do you think Gravy sits on this scale for us? You know, maybe is this one of the hardest matchups? It's gotta be. It's the best deck, right?
No, uh, the funny, the thing is, currently I think I haven't lost a game versus Gravy. But I still wouldn't put it in free.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh, it's
I think
uh,
it's even harder than Azalea, honestly.
yeah. Well, I think they are probably
About
quite on the same thing.
yeah,
Uh, the Gravies, they currently don't run a lot of disruption we care about. They have like one card that sometimes can strip one card from your hand
yeah,
when they attack with an ally, and that's just okay. That's the card I have to block with my armor.
yeah. Or the big
Oh,
CNC vote.
yeah, the
Or
CNC, and even either we don't have an arsenal or okay, you
yeah,
got my Crown of Providence.
yeah,
That's like the thing. Uh,
yeah. I have lost the
what?
gravy, but the only time I've lost the gravy was they went turn zero and they went Chum and Anka on turn zero. So I mean, if you get your best allies out immediately, then yeah, it's kind of tough for us. And the way that I have been losing to them is they actually fatigue me. If they're able to, a lot of gravies nowadays are playing 60 reacts. They're playing the 3 blood on the water and 3 shelters because Slippy kind of beats them, so they've been running shelter. Um, so if they're on that kind of build and they're able to play like 9 allies max, then it actually does get kind of tough for us because a lot of their stuff does block for 3.
Yes, that's well. Uh, I'm actually still. I think if they run that, then our chances actually get a little bit better. Uh, the thing is more like if they have stuff that blocks for 3, 3 is still not 4.
Yeah,
And they armor is like shit.
yeah,
If they
they
also
really
have a
bad
good
armor.
armor suite, then it gets tough.
Yeah, a lot of them have been
Uh,
running Crown of Providence or Balance of Justice as well.
something like that. Then it gets tough. But if they don't run a good armor suite and just 3 blocks, we should always get over that.
Yeah,
It's just Chum and Anka. They are the two most annoying allies.
yeah.
And that's why I think you need to run your 66.
Yeah, definitely. I run well, yeah, because
Mhm.
the throttles are so good. Like
Oh my god.
if you're able to like pitch a blue, send a zipper hit at their face, and then they're like, haha, activate chum. And then it's like, okay, throttle. Cool.
Yeah.
Throttle go next, let's see.
Yeah, Throttle is so good.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, if they run a lot of allies, they have
Yeah.
a lot of non-blocks.
Yeah.
And then it's more like, okay, you need to clear the most annoying ones. That's like Chum and Anka.
Mm.
I mean, Anka, no, Chum you don't always have to clear,
Yeah.
but you have to be ready to clear it.
Yes. Exactly. So like basically the way that I think about it is like Anka has to die immediately every single time.
Yep.
Chum, I will usually send something at their face, and then if I'm still able to clear it, like if I still have a throttle and like a 3-0 for 3 boost or something, I'll send another thing at their face. And if they don't chum there, then like there's no way that they're
Mhm.
gonna chum this turn. So and it kind of depends on life totals too, especially if they're below 20 HP or 15 especially. I'm just going at their face basically. I'm just gonna try to kill them.
Mhm.
So we've got Anka needs to die. Chum is a little bit more like maybe not. Sawbones, if they've activated Sawbones already this turn and I have a free pistol shot, then I'll shoot the Sawbones.
Mhm.
But that's also dependent on life total. If they're below 10, then I'll just shoot them in the face, and just not even worry about Sawbones. And then if I see them play Humperdinck, if I see Humperdinck or Limpet in the graveyard, I'm like, okay, cool, I won. Like
Yeah,
if they're playing Rigor Mortis, Humperdinck, Swabby, like if they're even playing those cards, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna win this game.
I mean, rigor mortis. He always gets a pistol shot because
Yeah.
he has just too much value. Uh, the what's the other the 6/2?
The 6/2 is Sawbones, the one that does one
Sawbones. Yeah,
damage.
exactly. Sawbones depends a little bit on how much life you have.
Yeah.
If you're like below 20, even if he has the Sawbones ability, if I don't have like a 3 attack to clear it,
Mm-hmm.
I still like to shoot my pistol on it because he has to tap it and then he can't attack it with it the next turn.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. I that's the same thing about Chum. I really like to clear Chum if I have a throttle and he is not like on really low life. I just clear Chum because he has a free attack with it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The other allies they don't have a free attack, so it's mostly not
Yeah.
that critical
If
to
they're
clear
ever
them.
keeping 4 cards to play a Humperdinck and attack with a Humperdinck, I'm like, oh, you're just gonna die this turn. Like that's cool with me. Sure. Like there's no way that they're ever attacking a Humperdinck on us,
Yeah,
basically.
that's just even if they have like it on I don't know on turn one
Yeah.
they can
Like
start and they can bring it out. Uh, I don't even know if they somehow could have the resources to swing with it
yeah,
on turn
you
one.
can't turn one swing and play, but you can turn one play it. I have gotten a turn
Yeah.
0 Humperdinck against me before, and I
Mhm.
just ignored it and I won. Like it was just like, okay,
Yeah,
sure.
the thing is always if they play Humperdinck, they also play probably other allies.
They play the
And
others.
if they draw an allies, they need to hold back like 3 cards to swing with it.
Exactly.
And we always alt value 14 if they don't disrupt us.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
we need a little a big brick for us to have less than 14 value per turn
Yeah.
cycle.
Definitely. Yeah.
Or it's a setup and then okay, that turn cycle was maybe I don't know 5 to 8, but the next turn cycle is 30.
Yeah. But and then for null time zone targets, actually I love to name Golden Tipple versus them. A lot of them are at least on 6, or I mean every gravy's at least on 6 Tipple, but
Mhm.
some of them are even on 9. So if you're able to just like brick their hand completely, I've had so many games where it's like I play null time zone off the top, no crank, and then they just like as the last item, and then they're just like, oh, they literally just pass the turn back with 2 cards in hand or 3 cards in hand. It's like, wow, I just think I lose the game now. And then the next turn they block with like 2 tipples, and I'm like, good
Yeah,
job.
and I had so many people like, that's a card? What does it do?
Yeah.
All time so it's just hey, it's out for song. I guess people are not playing against that.
Every single time I play Null Time Zone, my opponent just like leans over the table and starts reading it, and I'm like, yeah. And then they look at their hand. If I ever like see them look at their hand after that and go, oh, I'm just like, let's go. This is the best card in the game. And then
Oh
sometimes it
my
does
god.
nothing. So, you know.
Mm. Yeah,
But yeah,
it's definitely the target for it. I completely agree.
definitely Golden Tipple. Another name for like if you've already seen a bunch of them, Call to the Grave is also okay. And also Chart the High Seas are both okay. I
Mhm.
mean it's definitely Tipple unless you've already seen like all 6 and they haven't played yellows, or anything like that, then that's really the only time. But Chart the High Seas is a really good card for them. That's like their only card that enables like good one card plays, like from Arsenal. Like
Just let me go to the drive. Maybe I have. Here is it. Oh my god. I think I have a few additional targets than just. Where is it? When when it doesn't load as fast as you want it to, and, and then okay, let's click here, and that was the one. Luto Gold is also something I like to call.
Loot the hold. Yeah.
Mm, that's the thing where you have to discard the card.
Yeah, that one. That one as well. Those are like the only
Mhm.
ones. But Golden Tipple is definitely the name versus them. So yeah,
Yeah.
the gravy matchup is dependent on the life totals. Is whenever you attack the allies. Anka is number one. That one always gets attacked. And then Chum, and then like Chum and Sawbones are kind of meh. And if they're playing
Mhm.
any of the smaller ones, like or
And
the
could
big ones or the
see them
small
with the
ones,
pistol.
like if they're playing Oisin or if they're playing Humperdinck, then you've basically won the game. You already
Mhm.
know it. And then just don't
Yeah,
get
rigor
fatigued.
mortis is just a pistol
Yeah,
shot.
rigor mortis is a pistol shot. Just basically don't get fatigued. They can still fatigue you definitely if you're just going after the allies.
Mhm.
But other than that, Gravy being the best deck in the format is exactly why I'm choosing to play Dash IO. Like this is a good matchup for us. If this continues to be like heavily played, which I believe it will be, then
Mhm.
uh, then that's like a good thing for us going into Pro Tour or into your national season. And then definitely Golden Tipple on the Null Time Zone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Grey Bones is like the best thing that happened to us.
Yeah.
It he takes care of our other like hardest matchup
Yep.
before Florian
Yep.
or the Guardians, and if they're not there, we have a feast day.
Yep. Exactly. So going into the next matchup, we've got another best deck in format. That is very powerful right now. But we've got a pretty open meta, so we'll see where exactly would you put Verdance in on this on this.
Between 50-50 and pretty tough.
Oh, really? I mean, I would say that this is definitely our hardest.
I mean,
I guess
I think it's the hardest matchup, but I don't think it's like really unfavored for us.
yeah.
That's more it. I don't think from the decks that get played. Um, well, no, the hardest matchup is the yard.
Yeah, we definitely have some pretty hard matchups down here
Okay.
between the ones that don't get played as much, thankfully.
Yeah, but from the regular plate, it's probably the hardest.
Yeah.
It comes down a little bit on how many cards you decide to run for
Yeah.
the fatigue matchup
Yeah.
and how often you have played it. It's definitely something you have to have played a lot.
Hmm.
Not just on Tolishar, that's like the most important thing.
Yeah.
You really have to sit down with the Verdance, look at his list, maybe ask a few things. Why do you play this? Why do you play that? And then try it out.
Yeah.
She's probably also the only reason why you should play uh, the Hanabi Blaster.
Yep. So that is the reason why I'm playing Hanabi Blaster. This is only for the Earth Heroes. This is for
Mhm.
Florian and for Verdance, and that's it. Um, it just it lets you get that little bit over the top from this. If you're only playing pistol, it's still winnable, but
Mhm.
I found it a lot harder with only pistol, other than just
Mhm.
Hanabi.
Well, I still think just pistol is yeah. Well, it's doable, but if you if you think there are a lot of Verdance, the Hanabi makes it a little bit easier, not by that much, but it helps enough that it's worth to run it.
Yeah, I agree. And a trick with Hanabi is I'll never just get two counters on my Hanabi and then swing with it. Like that never feels very good. It's like I only want to swing with it if it's at like three counters. Most of the time in a game of Verdance where you run all 70 cards, like what I do, I run all 70. I am able to put six counters on my Hanabi Blaster. So that's three shots, so 15 overpower over the course of the game. And that's usually how I close this one out.
Well, I personally say if you have stripped her hand
Mhm.
and she also doesn't have like an arsenal anymore, just swing with it.
Yeah.
The Hanabi is really just uh, additional vanilla damage. And whenever you have a chance to just connect with it, do it. Don't wait for more counters. If I have two counters on it, she has no hand, I swing with it
Yeah.
every time.
Okay. And then you've also got a little bit of difference in your deck list over mine. You are not playing either Bracers of Belief or Goliath Gauntlet in your list anymore. And this is kind of the matchup where that really comes into play because most of the time in this matchup, I'm looking to get a dominated heist for 7. That's kind of the play line that you're looking for to be able to win the game. But you don't have the Bracers of Belief or Goliath Gauntlet. So, kind of explain what you're doing in this matchup to get around that.
Well, it's more like uh, on my area there are not that many verdances, and it's really just how they try to play the matchup in the last few weeks. They are probably on just one root bound. They are built a lot more offensive. So they also usually try to trade with you.
Yeah.
And because they try to trade with you, I think running adaptive plating is completely fine.
Yeah.
If they go back to a full fatigue game plan with, I don't know, 9D reacts, 12D reacts, something like that, then I think it's absolutely worth it to run an offensive glove slot. But
Yeah.
everyone that's
It kind of
be, be,
depends on like what they're doing because if they're going like the Majin list where they're running like the cadaverous tillings, then I think that like if you're in a top 8 scenario and you get to look at their deck list, then it definitely needs to be the adaptive plating because you're just able to block out. They are swinging with a lot of physical damage. No matter what, like at some point they're gonna throw a felling at you. Like there's no way that they're just not gonna ever just only do arcane damage. Um, but the important thing to note about this matchup is they are actually killing you most of the time. And also, if you're ever at 12 HP and you've already popped your boots, so you have no AB, if you're at 12 HP, you're within kill range from a Burn Bear Snapback Moon. If you're at 9 HP, then you're in kill range from like Burn Bear Moon. And if you're ever below 9, then you're basically dead. So it's very important that if you're not able to sit big hand, then you're really gonna like miss out not blocking. You really need to keep your health total as high as possible, especially on the times where you can block. Like if you're ever able to actually put cards in front of it and then just like play an item and pass, like maybe play a Teklo core or Teklo pounder and pass. Those are kind of the most important parts about this matchup that are really tough for less experienced players.
yes, when they are on the boots that let them play their
Yeah, Storm
arcane
Striders.
storms. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the exact thing. That's why I say, okay, hey, 3 value is better than 2,
yeah,
and
that's true.
that's that's more or less my reasoning to not play an offensive. I
That's
think
definitely
it's just
true.
more value.
Yeah, if you know their list and they're only on like three root bounds, like three red bounds, then I
Mhm,
think that the adaptive plating is actually better than any of the offensive buffs.
mhm,
Um, and then talking about root bound, we have null time zone targets. If you ever see a Verdance play a yellow root bound or pitch a yellow root bound, 100% you're naming root bound on the null time zone. But if you know their list and maybe it's a little bit later into the game, like the other day I was playing against the Verdants and they had not seen any of their fellings yet, and
mhm,
you know it's pretty late into the game and they've already seen you know four root bounds. Even if they're on yellow, they only have two left in their deck and they haven't seen any fellings, and they have no arsenal at this point. So it was like, okay, I played no time zone, I named felling, and then next turn I see them block with the felling, and I'm like, okay, this is amazing because they're already below 15 HP. If they're blocking with a felling now, then I think I've just won the game because there's no way that they're ever going to be able to play this felling from now on. Because I'm going to present so much damage that you're going to
mhm.
need to block and not be able to hold two cards back.
Yeah, that's kind of the theme for of Null Time Zone.
Yeah.
If they don't have an arsenal already, it's fine to name the worst red they could send to you.
Yes. Exactly.
That's the thing. Another target, but there you really have to know the list, is like Warmongers. Some
Yeah.
play it,
Yeah.
some don't. And if you know it, just name it.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing you can do on Dio. It's not really cheating, but usually the games of Dio don't last that long.
Yeah.
If you finish early, you're in the top
Oh,
seat or
definitely.
in the
Definitely
top
walking
seats.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, walk around, look, okay. y- you just need to know what to look for. You see a Verdance, okay. You need to know two things. Does she play Warmongers? Does she play Yellow Rootbound?
Yeah.
And if you know these two things and you're playing Null Time Zone,
Mm-hmm.
you get so much value from it.
Yeah, definitely walk around your tournament and check out the tables next to you and see, you know, just kind of, you know, take a peek and see like what cards are at the top of their graveyard. Obviously, you can't like go search their graveyard like they're in the middle of a game, but like, you know, kind of take a peek and just like see what cards are in their hand, see kind of how they're playing the game. If their deck is like this, like a fat stack, then definitely like take note of like who's going to be fat stacking when. But yeah, Verdance I think is in this meta probably one of the hardest matchups we have. Um, it's kind of tough. This is like the best deck that is really hard for us. Um, but I
Mhm.
would still call it like I mean my matchups in the Verdance have been pretty 50-50, and like we have some very talented Verdance players around me as well. So
Yeah, I would
I
say
feel
it's
confident.
not worse than like 45, 55 or something. It's
Yeah,
probably not worse than that.
yeah. But you do have to be able to make sure that you can set up a huge turn on them. Like you do
Mhm.
need to at some point hit them for 30 plus damage. I mean, like Verdance does actually run a lot of two blocks. Like they don't have face purgatory. Like that's what makes Florian so hard. Is they have the chess piece, they have channel the Millennium Tree, and face purgatory. But Verdance's armor doesn't really block. Like her gloves block for two because she usually runs Stonewall gauntlets. And then her boots don't block and her headpiece doesn't block either. So that's like her armor's not that good. She runs a
Mhm.
lot of two blocks with the discard gain two life card. Felling or no, cadaverous tilling is a two block. Um, there's just it's not as difficult as the 10% win rate that we've seen
Mhm.
in nationals so far. Like I
No,
don't
no, no.
understand. Yeah, how it's that bad.
Yeah, it's probably. I mean, one thing is like a lot of deals were on cog in the machine.
Yeah.
We can probably talk about that a little bit later, but when they run this, I think they were on a suboptimal list.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Mhm. One other card that's really interesting to name, but you just need to know if they run it, is Seeds of Tomorrow.
I don't think I've seen Seeds of Tomorrow in any Verdance list in a long time though. So that's
Well, my locals
oh,
run it.
your locals are running that. Okay, yeah, I have not seen that one in a
One of
while.
them runs it. Most others don't, but it's just it's an instant, so
Hmm.
they can't block with it. it's a card that can't be played from Arsenal.
Yeah.
And well, with Null Time Zone, they can't pitch it. It's just,
Yeah.
it's the ultimate gotcha.
Yeah, it definitely is. We so that's the Verdance matchup. Definitely one of the most important matchups to learn if you're going to your Nats. Like I would definitely have a good game plan going into that. Next up, we've got a little Arachne Marionette coming at you. This matchup, I honestly am a big hater of this deck. Anything that requires me to roll dice, I'm just like, let's get out of here. I know I play Dio, so like that doesn't really make sense. But like the actual physical rolling of the dice, unless you're playing Brute, I just don't like it. Like you can just get a bad Demi hero or whatever it is. But what would you say? Where would you put the Arachne Marionette, especially like the Tau Tau Dagger build list?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we're favored into that,
Hmm.
honestly.
Yeah.
It's between 50-50 and favored.
Yeah.
Uh, the people that really play a lot of Arachne from their side, they probably say, okay, hey, I'm also probably favored into the O.
I think so. I think that Arachne players would say they're favored into us as well. But like
So,
they don't really disrupt very much. It's not like new was like where it's like really bad. Like they're they're usually able to take maybe a card from our hand every 2 turns. So
mhm,
it's like not really that much. The dagger build especially is mostly like a lot of damage. And don't get me
mhm.
wrong, the numbers are good. Like it does do a lot of damage. But
It
if you're
doesn't do
if
30.
you're playing a deck that does a lot of damage, why are you not just playing? Yeah, exactly. Like this, like. There's not really very many decks that can really outrace us. Like just no blocks at all. Like let's go as fast as we can. It's like okay, let's go.
Well, the thing that Arachne doesn't have, like with the O, we always have to think about that when we play 9 rounds, we
Yeah,
have probably 1 round where we draw a brick hand.
yeah.
That's just that. And Mario is one of the matchups where when you draw that brick hand, he probably wins
Mm,
because his damage is it is quite high. I think it's a little bit lower than ours,
yeah,
but yeah, it's just that little difference. If you draw that brick hand, it's not automatically over, but it's definitely one of those matchups where we can't draw it.
yeah. Definitely. Um, I don't know because like if we draw a brick hand, but they also draw a brick hand, like if they draw like all reds, or because if they're on
Hmm.
dagger build and they have all reds, then like they swing for one and pass, like maybe four and pass. Like they have like a 4 card four, so it
Hmm.
like they also can brick pretty hard too. Like honestly, just as hard as we can. So that's kind of the reason why like I'm not that
Hmm.
scared of it. Especially like if they're not the I don't know. If you were always marionette, I think this deck would be really good. But
Oh my god!
since you have to switch to other ones, it's like I the other ones just aren't as good. Like if you could get +1 and go again every single time, like that would be so good. But
That's like kind of the problem
yeah,
of Mario, and the reason why a lot of people play the dagger build,
yeah,
because the dagger build doesn't really care in which demi hero you flip into.
yeah,
And then they have, well, then it's really great.
yeah.
I agree with you. If they always were Black Widow, it would be way too strong. On
Oh
the
yeah.
other hand, if every demi hero had an attack reaction for stealth cards,
Hmm.
then it would also be fine.
Yeah.
But that's like the thing.
There's 2 of them that
I
don't
think
even.
3 of them don't even have a.
Yeah.
Also, it's like, uh, yeah, 3 of them don't have a
3 of
stealth
them don't.
reaction.
Yeah. So half of them don't. So yeah.
Yeah, half of them don't. And if you're on a stealth build, that's just so tough.
Yeah, it is.
You would always be rather on the base form
Yeah,
than
exactly.
on one of the bricks.
Yep.
That's the
And how many cards are you running into Mario? Are because like
66.
so yeah. Usually I have 63 in the main, against like Syndra and Dio and like Kano, any like super actually not even Kano like Prism. I'm running 60 lean, and then in most of the time I'm running like 63 or 66. This is definitely one of the 66 matchups because they do block for three
Mhm.
with basically everything.
Yes.
So they can switch to fatigue at some point if they're like if the game's going too long.
Yeah, you
So
have sometimes the
yeah,
problem that you low roll a little bit on your offensive. They still
yeah,
you still have enough offensive that they always want to block
hmm,
just to not give up on life. Uh, but if you're on 60, they also have a few cards that rip additional cards from your deck or hand.
yeah,
So it's definitely
definitely.
just play the 66.
What's your null time zone target against Mario?
It's Bonds of Agony every fucking time.
Yeah, bonds. Okay, so I usually do name bonds definitely, but there's definitely arguments for either codex or persuasive prognosis as well.
Mhm,
Depending on like of course like how many bonds you've already seen, how many bonds they've pitched, how many codexes they have. If they have a leave note in graveyard, then like codex is also really good. um
mhm,
but yeah, so it's usually bonds though. That's like the only card that's like that
mhm.
can like really really mess up a turn.
Yeah, well, the thing with null time zone is always uh, you have to look at the grave first. If they have already two bonds in grave, just don't name bonds.
Yeah,
Then you can look at the like second best target, like a codex or something. If they
yeah,
also have two codex, then you really have to think, okay, how many persuasive prognoses are there? How many kiss of death are there? Am I afraid of just a nick? Something like that.
yeah. Yeah, I've seen a lot of them going down to like one or two Justin Nick though, so that's like less than, especially like the dagger build is not really on Justin Nick as
Yeah,
much.
it's probably not, but
Yeah,
like Kiss of Death can be so annoying with, especially like with Black Widow, if they just have the thing that lines up,
yeah,
they can strip two cards of your hand.
hmm,
Uh, on the other hand, if they are on Demi Hero, they can just discard the card you named it. So
hmm. So yeah, the I would say slightly favored into Mario, but I also think the Marios would say they're slightly favored into us. So, we'll see where that one goes once Nats shakes
yeah.
out a little bit more. Maybe more 50-50 if both people think that, they're both slightly favored. But
I mean,
next
if we
up,
if we can start, I think we're really favored.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
in a
especially with
vacuum,
all the
when you really say, okay, hey, you have to account for you in the Swiss, there is a dice roll. You can draw up a really bad hand. You can draw up items. Then it's probably closer to a 50-50 or maybe favored,
yeah.
especially when they start and we have a bad hand. All factors considered. But if we can start, I'm very confident that we're
I'm also
favored.
pretty confident, yeah. Next up, we've got a matchup. Everybody hates seeing this hero. We've got Kano coming at you, but if Kano's ever like really popular, maybe at a tournament, this is one of the free ones. this,
Well, if you're on Misfire, I
oh,
think
true,
we
yes.
have to.
If you're on Misfire Dampener, then this matchup is free.
Yeah, Kano is like the only reason why we play Visitronic and Misfire. I mean, Visitronic, you could argument it for Verdance.
Verdance, yeah.
There's an argument for her, but Miss. I mean, you probably just auto lose versus Ken if you don't run either of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you have AB1, you
Uh-huh.
lose. Absolutely. But
So
if you have AB3 plus Spellvoid too, like
yes,
it's so bad.
it, I heard from a lot of Kano players that AB3 Spellvoid 2 is not the worst, but I think we're overall still like too fast.
Well, it's not the worst, but that's if they're able to like actually set up a big turn. If they're dead,
Mhm.
if we have lethal on the stack by turn 3, then they need to have drawn everything they need by turn 3. Like it's
Yeah,
just
they need to have like um, their wildfire either in hand so they can top stack it
mhm,
with their equipment, or in arsenal to play it with
yeah.
the boots. Also, yeah, and they also probably need to have one or two energy pots or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they run
They need to have the
warlocks.
setup.
Yeah, they need to already have the setup. But also another thing that a lot of DOs are on, which I'm not specifically on right now, is Signal Jammer, which also really messes them up. They're only able to play
Mhm.
one non-attack action per turn, so it's like
Mhm.
they can't really do anything against one non-attack action. Like they literally can't combo you at all. So that's really good against Kano. Also, we have null time zone targets. We have two really good null time zone targets, which are either open the floodgates or overflow the Aether Well. Overflow is the one that gives them two resources. Open the floodgates, the one that draws two cards. I mean,
Mhm.
if you name either of those and they have that in hand, then they can't really do anything at all because they run
Well,
rainbow of both of them.
that depends a little bit of the list. I have seen list where they play like just red and blue overflow,
Yeah.
and maybe just blue floodgates.
Mm.
What I think is actually an even better target than those two is the energy potion.
Oh, true, true, true. Yeah.
If they haven't played it already, it just breaks their hand. And if they have like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I have already a wildfire in arsenal, but I can't pitch the energy potion and I
Yeah.
can't play it.
Yeah.
It just completely breaks them. That's one thing. And the other thing is like to really play the wildfire from arsenal, they kind of want to have an epot already in play. And if you can just say, okay, they need to have an epot somewhere, um, that's just so hard. And if they like have to delay their turn, they have to put it in arsenal and then play it
Mm-hmm.
next turn. That's so hard. It can come from the Kano ability. Null
Yeah.
Time Zone doesn't really prevent
Stop
it
that.
there,
Yeah.
and it's also only 3 targets. But if you haven't seen one yet,
Yeah.
definitely name Energy Potion.
Another one that is a good name is Gaze the Aegis because that one is like the extender for them because it always goes back to their hand and they want to pitch it after
Mhm.
that. So they want to play it up to and then pitch it. So if it's in their hand, then they literally can't do anything with it, and it really kind of slows down their ability to combo because they can't do the opt.
Mhm.
That one's really good as well.
Yeah, we have so many good targets. You just
Yeah,
at best you come with like top 5 list
yeah,
cards to name for Kano. Played 3 null time zones. Play misfire, and you can't lose that matchup.
yeah. No,
It's
that one's pretty free. I've since I've started playing Misfire, I've not lost that one at all. It's
Mhm.
yeah. You just go too fast for them. They start at 30 HP. You can literally do
Mhm.
30 on turn 0. Like kind of like how they can kill you on I mean, of course it's Kano, so you can just die like if they go first or something. The odds of that are very low. So
Well, you still always want to end your turn with like 2 floating and a yellow in
yes.
hand or
Yes.
something,
You never want to
or
go
with a
Prism.
blue in hand and 0 floating. You still need to respect Kano for being
Yes.
Kano.
Yeah, you still need to know
Um,
how to play against the deck. I mean, it's free
mhm,
if you like know what you're doing because it's like if you really do overextend and you like, maybe they have 2 life left and you're like, "Oh, this blue zipper or this blue 0 to 60 can really kill them." Like, I'm going to play. It's like, "Nope. Don't do that. Just pass the turn. Arsenal it. Like, it's fine
mhm.
there. Like, I promise. You will be you just have to live to the next turn." But yeah, so Kano I would say is our first pre matchup on this tier list here. Next up we've got another dark horse. I mean, the Warriors dark horses, that's what they always are, aren't they? But we've got Fang here. So what do you think about Fang? A lot of people are putting
Besides
him on like big
Verdance,
aggro.
yeah,
Oh, you would put
he's
Fang
definitely.
pretty tough?
I think he's definitely harder than Kassai. The thing is, uh, he it's like we said in Kassai. uh, he can race you,
Mm-hmm.
and he can fatigue you.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, if you draw a setup hand, he can punish that.
Mm-hmm.
He always has the things. So you can't really run your fatigue lineup. You have to run like the 66.
Man,
Or
this is the first
do you
time that
have?
we completely disagree. I think
Okay,
Fang is
okay,
almost free. I think
okay. Why?
it's like this is like one of the easiest matchups. Um
Okay,
because
interesting.
yeah, I don't know cuz like so they can fatigue you. They definitely like that is the way that they have to play to win. But they run half of their cards are 2 blocks. Their equipment is good, but like it's not that good. It's I don't know. It's they run pretty. I mean, they have Valiant Dynamo, so that's definitely good for them. But like they have to keep 3 cards to be able to do anything. Like especially
No,
before they have fealty, they have to pitch a card and then attack, and then they have to play another card to swing another. So they have to have at least 2 cards, and all of their cards block. Not all, but most of their cards block too. So to do anything, they have to keep cards.
the thing is, we don't block. They can be on 350 on turn one or turn two,
I don't
and
care.
they and
They
then
still.
they just need one. Always need one card to keep up their fealty.
Then they swing 5. If they just swing 5 with 1 card every single turn, like okay, cool. You're gonna swing 5 every turn. 2 of those turns are completely negated by my armor. And then after that, I'm swinging 20 and 20. Like you don't have any disruption. Like there's nothing that you're actually doing to me that I care about besides hitting me for 5. So it's like,
I mean,
and if you
that's the
want to
thing.
keep your whole hand, then
If you don't really have a boom grenade up,
mm,
and if they have like the really good red cards, they can block with their bad blue, and then still swing for like 16.
yeah, we'll throw this one in the 50-50 because we
Okay.
completely disagree. But like honestly, like this one's almost free. Like
I mean,
they do not deal nearly as much damage as we do, nearly as
ex-
fast.
from experience, I'm also winning that matchup a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but I have to be fair here. I think the Fangs I played against are not that good
Mm-hmm.
often. And if there comes a really good Fang, I'd be pretty afraid of him
Yeah, I have
because
played against the good Fang, and the way that they were beating me was by fatiguing me. And then whenever I switched to playing my full fatigue game playing against them, they just started going aggro and they started beating me that way. So definitely running the 66, like no doubt
we
about
agree
that.
on the follow thing. If you have a Fang before round three, it's free. If you run into a Fang in top eight, it's pretty tough.
It'll be tough. I mean, anything in top eight's gonna be tough. Like
Sure.
no matter what it is, even a Kano in top eight, I'm kind of scared of. Like they know what they're doing. So
I think Kano is probably the only one I still
maybe
wouldn't
not.
be
Oh,
afraid
there's
of.
another one. There's another one. But we'll see that one in a little bit. So yeah, that's the first time we completely disagree. So that's interesting.
Mhm.
I don't know. My win rate into Fang is very good. So that one's kind of fine with me. I'd be down
Mhm.
with seeing a Fang basically anytime. But so we'll throw that one into 50-50. Null time zone targets against Fang. I
I
mean,
mean, just to run the name the D reacts,
yeah, usually
probably.
either sink below, maybe affirm loyalty if they haven't played any of those yet and they don't have 3 loyalty.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe Glint the Quicksilver because they only
Vermont
run
could
like
also be
six
good.
blues. They run like 6 blues, so Glint is good. To
Mhm.
stop them from being able to pitch if they don't have 3 fealty. If they do have 3 fealty, maybe Saber Bloodshed as well.
Yeah, and if you know if they are on Warmongers, because they definitely can it in that list, name Warmongers or like the D reacts,
Yeah,
something like
I
that.
would definitely play the null time zones. I would just like look at what they've played. Affirm loyalty is good. Searing gaze is good. There's a few like decent cards that you can name against them. But
Yes.
yeah. But that one's just like a little bit more. You're just playing the null time zones because it's a blue and it's another card in your deck that you can boost. So don't be afraid to boost it away. Like if you haven't DO'd yet and you know that you still have like 3 processors left in your deck or more boom grenades left in your deck, like that's fine. That can get rocketed away. Um, so yeah,
Mm.
Fang, we'll split that one 50-50 since we disagree
Mhm.
on it. But next we'll go into what I think we will agree on is Victor. Where would you put Victor?
Um, I probably think he is strong enough that we can put it in the hardest matchups or pretty
Yeah,
tough.
yeah, I
I'm
agree.
uh,
If not
uh,
hardest, then like at the top of pretty tough.
yeah, I probably will put him in the hardest
Yeah,
because Victor is just he can block well. He is the only fucking hero that gets to play 5 defensive cards.
yeah.
That's so stupid.
He gets not only that, he also has, you know, 8 like 9 attack, 11 attack. Like he
As
can
soon as
play
we take
crippling crush.
a
Yeah.
big setup turn, it's just spinal crush with
Yeah.
I don't know, just
Pummel.
because I'm Victor with a pummel,
Yeah.
and you just
Yeah. And
fuck.
then I think you just lose the game after that. Yeah, if that happens to you, I think you just lose.
Yeah, uh, yeah. I think you you still need to fat stack him. You still need to
Absolutely.
run your pounder. Optimally, you can attack a lot and then play your pounder at the end of your turn. That's
Yeah.
like how you do it. But
Yeah, you must connect with your boom grenades. Like those absolutely need to connect in this matchup. You absolutely like you really need to find an early what's it called?
pounder
Convection amplifier. Or
for
it
that,
kind
yeah.
of depends on like the pounder. Like if you're able to get the
Mhm,
pounders early, then like that's definitely a big step up for you. But if they
mhm,
never show up, then like you kind of have to you got to try to kill them at some point because they can kill you fast too. That's the
mhm.
problem is they can block a
The,
lot and kill you fast.
the worst thing that can happen to you is like to draw the boom grenades, and even with the red ones, I'm gonna be honest, just pitch them.
Yeah, always. Yeah, you want them in your deck.
Oh,
You
don't play them out, just pitch them.
yeah, agreed. But yeah, Null Time Zone targets versus Victor can definitely be another sink below guy. Definitely. Maybe even Terra Sunder, if you've seen them play a bunch of their sink belows and you haven't seen a Terra Sunder yet, because that's a really good name against they can't pitch it and then that's also just like really good for them.
Mhm.
And then or like is it crippling or spinal? Whichever one
It's
takes away
Spinal
like
Crush if they
yeah,
don't have an arsenal,
yeah,
or even if they have an arsenal.
yeah,
Just Spinal. What's also interesting is like debilitate because they play a red and a blue of that, and
they do,
then
yeah.
you kind of attack them from 2 axes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's probably sink below Spinal Crush debilitate.
Yeah.
That's
I also like Terra Sunder, but Debilitate, I haven't thought
Mhm,
of that one, but that one's definitely good too. But yeah, definitely one of the harder matchups that we have. But thankfully, like with the meta that we're in right now, he's kind of held down by
mhm,
like Verdance and Gravy. Like those are free matchups. Like Victor is an absolute free matchup for both of those. So
mhm.
thankfully those are the two best decks right now and kind of holding down our hardest matchup. Next one we've got is Ira. This one's another dark horse of a little ninja girl here, but honestly, this one's pretty tough.
I think it depends how it's built. If it's built correctly with like fucking weakest link, erase face,
Yeah,
CNC, then you just say, what the fuck? What's a
and
fucking deck? And then they're all like
yeah,
on flick flag and the other
yeah, flick flag.
defense reaction.
Yeah,
Um,
the
then
problem
you
with
really hate it.
Ira, yeah, the problem with Ira for me is that they can run flick flag and like flick flag block with a combo card, and then they get so much value out of that, even if a boom grenade hits that turn, and then they can keep 2 cards and go Kadachi erase face, and you're like, oh, or like Kadachi CNC, and it's like, oh, like their ability to flip. It's the same thing as Kassai. Their ability to
Mhm.
flip between aggro and defensive is just so strong that that it's just like so hard to play against.
He
And
can also
another
play
thing,
Warmongers.
and they can play warmongers, and like another thing, they can play warmongers really well. And also like their blue base, like there's no null time zone targets versus their blue base because they run like one or two ofs of like every single combo card that costs 0, just
Mhm.
so that it's like hard to null time zone them. Like that, this is what my local does to me. He's like, yeah, all of I literally have like 30 blues and they're all different cards, and it's
Mhm.
just like,
Yeah, I think if you run Null Time Zone, you probably, I mean, you probably should even fat stack her.
that's
It's
another
hard.
problem with her is like how
Even
many cards is she
66 or
playing?
fat stack.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
usually do 66.
yeah, usually, but just imagine she has like, she comes with all the bullshit into you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that if she runs 9 D reacts and it's like, oh, I'm gonna run like you can't run 60, obviously, like
No.
not at all. You can't really run 63 because she can still fatigue you. Even 66, you're pretty fatigable. But if you run the full fat stack, then it's like sometimes they like kind of have an off turn, and then you
Here's
also
the
have an off
thing.
turn. It's like ah,
I think she is probably the first hero on this list that doesn't punish us that much if we run too slow.
yeah,
Like if we play a fat stack and she comes with like erase face for 7, blocking six play a pounder perfectly fine.
mhm, definitely. I agree with
So
that.
you can block versus her if you don't have like a boom grenade out or something.
Yeah,
I think she doesn't punish us enough to fat stack her,
yeah,
and fatigue is probably the angle how she, also disruption and fatigue
yeah.
is the angle how she fights us, and that's why I would say just run a fat stack.
Yeah, if she's able to catch a good weakest link, or if she's able to catch like a good CNC on like a
Hmm.
Spark or a Max V, or like an erase face. Erase face is just always really tough. Like that just shuts down our turn, no
Hmm.
matter what. It's got to be blocked, and if it's not blocked, then like literally can't do anything. Can't even
Yeah,
like do item
erase
shenanigans.
face is the worst if you draw a full item hand. That's the
Yeah,
but that's the other thing. If she does can't really punish us with a lot of cards,
yeah.
blocking an erase phase if you run a fat stack, that's fine.
Yeah. And then also like even if you don't like a lot of times her hands just don't convert at all because it's like maybe she comes
Mhm.
at you with an erase face and it's like oh dang, so then like you
Mhm.
block 6, take 1, get erase faced, and then you play a Teklo core and Arsenal pass, and then she draws, or like the hand that she drew up was like flick flack sink, or like something like that. It's like
Mhm.
now she does literally nothing to us and we set up a Teklo.
Yeah, and even if she has like something like a CNC next turn, she probably still won't like Kadachi CNC because the CNC is then not on a breakpoint, so he comes forward,
Mm-hmm.
Kadachi CNC, and that's just one damage less
Yeah.
than what she could do, but she doesn't have something else, and
Yeah.
that's like okay. I mean, I'm often also fine just to eat a CNC and
I would
lose
just
my
eat the
arsenal
CNC.
card
Yeah.
if the rest lines up. So.
Yeah, I'm fine with that as well. That's usually you can, not usually, but sometimes you can just let the CNC like it hit and it's fine.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no time zone targets versus her. I do actually see a lot of like people playing up sticks. I've seen red and yellow up sticks in lists before, or red and blues. So that's kind of a name. Sink below flick flack, classics there.
I
Um,
mean, it's more like if you have full tempo, you can name the defensive stuff, but they can always arsenal it, so it's not the biggest deal.
yeah.
Personally, I'm on Erase Face and Warmongers. I just don't want to see those cards.
Erase face, yeah, erase face is pretty tough versus us, definitely. Especially if you like know the list that you're playing against. Yeah, so that's Ira. Honestly, pretty tough. Same reason as Kassai, just because its ability to flip between aggro and fatigue, in the middle of the game and in the middle of turns. Honestly, so yeah, that one's pretty tough. Next up, we've got Slippy here, another assassin, but maybe slightly different than our assassin buddy Mario here. What do you think about Slippy?
I think he's pretty identical to Mario overall. He has mostly the same disruption cards. He has mostly the same damage cards. He has a few cards that are better for him, like the red stealth attack that heals him.
Yeah,
Just to think about it, wait, it's in the Art of Desire Body,
Art of Desire Body. Yeah, I would
or also
also
Infiltrate
consider
can
Slippy.
be annoying.
Yeah, Infiltrate's annoying, but
Um,
they have the same disruption, but they just do more damage. Like that's the thing is that like over 4 turns, they're probably doing like 5 to 10 more damage than Mario is doing. So it puts us into a situation where we need to block sooner
yeah, um,
while having
yeah,
basically the
probably.
same amount of disruption. So
Well, I wouldn't say he deals that much more damage.
well,
Uh,
5 to 10 over 4 turns is like that's the difference between having to block that fourth turn or not have to block
mhm,
and being able to eat it.
yeah, I think the matchup is mostly the same. What's interesting to run versus the assassins? They have two very crucial cards we all know, and that's Codex and Leave No Witness.
Yeah.
And because of those two cards, I actually like to run the Tinker Rings in the arm slot and just block a Leave No Witness with chest arm, and another one like just with the Crown of Providence
Okay. Yeah. That does
and
make sense
recycle.
actually.
That's the thing I like to do versus them.
Okay.
And then it's more like, do you also run the adaptive in the leg slot, or do you run like the good stuff, like the Achilles?
No, I think
Uh,
the Achilles, especially in this matchup, like this is another aggro matchup, and being
mhm.
able to draw off your like get 2 draws off
Yes.
Cerebellum Processor is so much more worth it than the 3 value off of the blocking with the Tinker X plus
I mean,
legs.
it's still an additional 3 value, but on the other hand, like if you can draw the right card,
Yeah, I
that
mean, if
should
you draw
always be more than 3.
even a 0 to 60 is like better than 3.
Yeah, the other thing is like it's an assassin, so sometimes they just have annoying on hits.
Yeah,
And if you can block it with your equipment, that's so much value.
yeah,
And they don't play that many D reacts. That's the other thing.
yeah. Even
So
the reacts that they
if
do
they,
play are only blocked for 3. So
if they, especially Mario, if he comes like with a Mark of the Black Widow, if you can say, okay, I block 3 with the adaptive plating there, and he said, okay, go again. I come with the next one.
yeah. But
Uh,
I would call Slippy a little bit harder than Mario. Just because they just do more damage. You might have to get into the I have to block like 1 turn sooner, which really can change the difference in an aggro matchup.
I think they are both about the same, but I'm fine with the
Yeah,
uh, putting it in 50-50.
slightly harder. Yeah. And then Null Time Zone targets basically the same as Mario. I mean, you've got like Kiss of Death. They're not really running D-Reacts, so maybe you're scared of Bonds, of course. Bonds and
It's always Bones. It's
yeah,
just if you haven't seen a Bones, no matter if they have an arsenal or not, you just call Bones.
yeah, yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense to me. Um, and then next up, we've got someone who maybe fell from grace a little bit. You know, we had the best deck in the format for so long and had to get a card ban from it. But you know what happened to Florian? Where would you say Florian is for us?
I mean, besides Victor,
Yeah,
it's gotta be.
yeah. That's a tough matchup.
It's that fucking mask of him.
Yeah, the face purgatory, everything
Oh my
blocking for
god.
3. You have how many majestics does Florian run? I mean, this is like a 60 majestic deck here. Everything blocks for 3. Everything has some sort of like wall of text on it that it's like, oh, here if I do this, then this happens, and then I'm just like Runeblade, bro. Come on.
Well, we mostly care about the block of 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, face
Um,
purg is
I
so
mean,
good.
the only cards he really has we more or less care about are like felling.
Yeah.
And I mean CNC and plow under, okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
We if they it's just he will fatigue. He will try for the go for the fatigue plan, and besides Victor and Jarl, we will later talk about him. Um, that's like the main thing we are scared about it. So it's like fat stack, really try to go for a big turn. It's not absolutely. I think if I would have to choose between Jarl, Florian, and Victor to face, I would always go for the Florian
Oh,
because he has
really?
less disruption.
I would
He,
probably choose
he has
Jarl
just
too.
less disruption as
Hmm.
the other ones,
Interesting. Yeah, but I just feel like he
personally.
does more damage. I would honestly rather play Jarl, like, because Jarl has a lot of two blocks. Like, depending on their list. They got
Mhm.
a lot of cards that like don't really block very well. But I guess we'll talk about him in a second. But
Yeah, sure.
any null time zone targets that you got against Florian?
I mean, Florian is a little bit like Verdance. He's another
Okay.
hero where it's really worth it to scout it out if he has like the two root bounds or only one.
Hmm.
And like no wars and okay, it's felling.
Yeah. Felling, of course. Rootbound, of course.
Also,
Another
Warmongers is
oh
something
yeah.
like don't call it in the blind because you have no guarantee that they even have
Oh
it in
yeah.
their AT. But if you know it, if you could scout them out or it's in the top 8 and it's open deck list, then it's a good target.
Yeah. Definitely. And then sync below, of course, as well, if you see those. Other than that, it's just this is another one of they're able to do a bunch of damage and kind of stop you from doing whatever you want to do. Or like block you really, really well. Face Purg is just so good. Barkskin and Millennium Tree is just so good. Um, but yeah, definitely a little bit Verdance flavored in the null time zone aspect as well. I don't know why. I think that we're gonna agree on or disagree on this next one, but we'll see. What exactly do you think of our light illusionist here? We have Prism.
I think we need a new tier between slightly favored and free.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we agree on this one then. I was thinking
Uh,
that.
honestly, I think it's almost free.
It's yeah,
I think it's easier than anything in the slightly favored,
yeah,
and
by a lot.
just because of that, I would put it in the free because I think we probably won't have another hero there.
Whatever you say.
Probably, probably. Maybe we disagree on something else, but it's definitely our second easiest matchup from what's here on the list.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I mean,
On
Prism
he,
is
well, what
pretty.
we already have on the list.
Yeah, we'll throw it in here just for the thumbnail.
Well,
But
you have to put Kano above.
yeah, really, that prison players would be so mad about that. But yeah, it's just like we're able to run, the throttles, the max V's, which are never not poppers. Like even if they're running the red -4 thing, it's still a popper. Like they need to line, which none of them are running that right now. But like, they
Mhm,
have that. They have so many no blocks in their deck. We're just able to deal 32 damage really fast. Like
mhm,
you can lose this matchup, definitely. If like
mhm.
if they are able to, like, you need to starve them from soul in the beginning of the game and get them like less than like 15 or 10
Yes, you
like in a
need.
couple
That's another
turns.
matchup you really need to know. You need to train because if you don't, you will likely lose it.
Yes.
Despite we here both saying it's free.
Yes, definitely. It is
That's one of
still an
them.
illusionist. You need to know what you're
If you
doing.
ask the illusionists, they say, okay, you have two poppers. I don't care um, about throttle because we have Herald of Triumph, and I say,
Yeah.
yeah, we have Null Time Zone. Fuck
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because they run Rainbow Herald of Triumph. So it's like they
Yeah.
can't pitch it, they can't play it, and they can't attack with it either. So
Mhm.
That card's super good. They run no blocks. They run two blocks with the little things that get rid of Phantasm or give it +2,
Mhm.
which easily die to pistol shots at the end of
She
chains.
has no armor. She starts on
No
32
armor.
life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's oh my god.
Yeah. I think you definitely need to know what you're doing. Like you can't just take every hit. If you take every hit, you're gonna lose. Like if you let her get soul, if you let her get allies out, it doesn't matter if she's at one. This is the one deck that can really come back from being at one. Like the best out of
Mhm.
every deck by far. But
Yes.
yeah.
I
She
mean, Nu was also quite fine at that,
yeah,
but
she gone.
Prism
We
is
don't care.
still
We
not.
don't care about new no more.
Yeah.
But yeah, Prism is I would call this like it's almost like free. But you it does have to like you do have to know what you're doing. It's not like
Mhm.
you can just just take every hit or block out the whole time.
Yes, but if you have played it a lot, if you are an experienced player, if you are an experienced dash player, um, you ch- the only I think the only way you lose that matchup is if you break.
Yeah.
Really.
Like really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't even
Also, going
most it
first is
doesn't even.
very important in this matchup because if you break on
Yeah.
your first hand and if she's able to get an ally on turn 0, then that's like really really not good for you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Prism's pretty easy for us. Null Time Zone targets. What is it? It's War Tune Herald. That's what the -1 is.
Uh, it's the Herald of Triumph.
Herald of Triumph. Herald of Triumph. Yeah.
Yeah,
Herald
then
of Triumph. That's good.
Wharton Held is another day play on Rainbow, and I think also like a Herald of Protection could be in multiple colors.
Yes. Yeah. I
You
like
have so many targets. Uh, there is also like the
Herald of
aspect
Integration.
if you somehow can look into their hand with a harpoon and you see a figment, you can call the figment.
Oh, true. Then they can't even pitch it. Oh, that's so rough for them. Oh, that's so rough. Yeah, because they have to pitch like in response basically to
Yeah,
playing a Null Time Zone.
and if they pitch it, you just name a herald.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's really good. Um, yeah, that would suck for them. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that. But yeah, Prism, pretty good matchup for us. I love that tech for the Null Time Zone. That's really smart.
Mhm.
And of course that goes into every really matchup. Is like if you look into their hand with a Pulsewave and then you see a Null Time Zone, just name whatever's in their hand. Like name whatever best card is in their hand.
If you can name an instant, they always like, oh fuck.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because it's like you play the Null Time Zone, it's like any responses. Null Time Zone trigger any responses, and they're like no responses. Okay, name the instant instead.
Yeah, that's the thing you need to know as the Dash player or when you play against Dash. When Null Time Zone comes on the field, doesn't matter if they play it from hand or from the top of the deck, you can respond to it before they can name a card.
Yes,
And
that's
that's why
very
you
true.
don't
That's facts.
say null time zone and call their instant, and they're just okay. Wait, I can respond to that. I have a
Yeah,
window. Now I pitch it away or play it out. So that's just okay. Any responses? No, I named that shit.
definitely. So yeah, Prism, good matchup for us. Especially that's really good because it looks like she's gonna be pretty popular. She's very good versus Gravy, so it looks like she's gonna be popular going into your Nat season or your PT that you're going to. Next up, we've got another dark horse. We've got the other mechanologist in here. We've got Puffin. So there's Puffin has not been figured out yet, so that kind of has to go into like our conversation here. But it
Hmm.
seems like the most popular way to play her right now is boost. So just
Hmm.
full aggro, go go go, kind of like us.
Hmm.
How exactly do you feel about that matchup and that build?
Um, Jolly Bolcher.
Jolly Bludger is rough. That is
Yeah,
quite
Jolly
a rough
Bludger.
card. Yeah,
Fuck that card.
that's quite a rough card. Yeah,
Without that, I would disrespect that hero.
yeah. It
In
wouldn't even
our
be. We
matchup.
wouldn't even talk about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
But even with that card, I still feel like we're fine. Like at least slightly favored.
The thing is, it can come for 7 overpower.
Yeah.
He Puffin has a lot of damage per turn cycle. She can also defend. I mean, the soup ups they block for 4.
Yeah.
I would still say, I think that's another matchup you need to have played a little bit. If you have played it, it's probably a 50-50 to slightly favored. If you haven't, it could even go to tough
Okay. Okay.
if you're not
Interesting.
training it.
Okay. I've not really found that much of an issue into it so far. Like even in
Well,
boost build, I just been faster than it basically.
usually, but if the Puffin hand lines up, they have like the we are an intellect 5 hero, but not quite every turn. Puffin can be an intellect 5 hero every fucking turn.
Yeah, but the thing is, she's also like a lot of the puffins right now are on like 12 copper cogs, and it's like if you're running that many no blocks, like, and also like they might be a 5 intellect hero, but it's like okay, I play a copper cog crank, play a copper cog crank, draw a copper cog.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's the other thing. We all thought when Puffin came out, okay, he's probably a slower Dio,
Yeah.
but brickless, and that's probably true because even if she like draws too many copper cocks, uh, I mean, it's not a good turn to play 2 copper cocks, crank both, draw another one, but you can put that in arsenal and it's not the worst, and you
Yeah.
can still like attack with a pistol. It's a horrible turn. You never want to have that,
Yeah.
but the Dio bricks are worse.
Mm. It is less of a brick for Puffin, but her
Mhm.
ceiling is just so much lower. Like her ceiling being maybe like 25 and our ceiling being 40 is like maybe her ceiling's like 28 to 30. I haven't really seen any
I mean,
Puffins.
let's be honest. Puffin can have, if she has a strong. That's the other thing. Puffin doesn't really have that much of a high ceiling when attacking, but she has a high per turn
She
value
has
with blocking.
true, true, true.
So her turn value can be 20 over multiple turns. She can have stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think like 25 is probably her ceiling. Uh, if you look at the perfect best hand, yeah, sure, it
Yeah.
could be, I don't know, 30 or something like that. And even Dio doesn't deal 40 damage. It's the ceiling is usually around 30,
Let me
32.
I got a little
You
screenshot
have
for you.
there are the moon hands. There are the moon hands where you go to 40, but you have them so rare.
Yeah.
But you have like a 30 hand, like in 5 games you will see a 30 value hand with Dio.
In 5 games, I see that at least once every 2 games. Like half of my
Yeah,
games, I get a
or
35.
even more often. Like
Yeah.
I actually wanted to say like 1 in 3, and then uh,
As long as it's not like against assassin, like if it's against something that's not disrupting me, I would say half of my games I have a 35 damage turn.
well, maybe not 35, but yeah, if we don't get
Yeah.
disrupted, we come to a 30 value hand.
30, yeah, 30
That's
easy. Yeah.
but that's the other thing. Sometimes you only come to a 20-25 hand, and then the game is over. That's the
Yeah.
other thing
Yeah,
I kind of
exactly.
want to say. Like the games usually don't even last that long if we don't get disrupted. That we go to a
Then you can't
crazy
set
hand.
up something that high. Yeah. That's
Yes.
definitely true. But the Puffin, it bricks not as bad as us, but it also just
Mhm.
doesn't have as high of a ceiling. I would call it slightly favored. Jolly Bludger, it would be free if there were no Jolly Bludger. Like definitely, like we
Mhm.
wouldn't even be talking about this matchup.
Yes.
But yeah, with that card, it kind of makes it a little bit tougher. She does have good defensive plus good offensive, but not as good as Kassai or Ira.
Mhm.
That's the only disruption that she really runs is the Jolly.
Mhm. But that's the thing. If she finds like two jollies early, that matchup is so tough.
Yeah, either that or if she finds the Jollies like right after we play a processor plus boom grenade or something, like if we go for a setup turn. Or like
Not for
Teklo
a setup.
core.
Oh my
If she
god!
takes a
Yeah.
Teklo core, ooh, that sucks.
I mean, she takes and she deals 7 damage. She can she can take 7 items.
Yeah.
She doesn't take one item. She takes
No, she
as much
takes
as
all
she
of them.
deals damage.
Yeah.
So it's something we have to block.
It is. Yeah, it's
And
super
also,
tough.
like, if she has a Palantir, we still hate it.
Yeah, usually the Palantir gets a crown at first, but like it's kind of like I don't want
Yeah,
to give up
but it doesn't
points.
have any defense. Our fridge
Yeah.
it has no defensive value
Mm.
because, like, the best thing you kind of can have with your fridge if you block uh, a Jolly Bloodsher early, but then you kind of either need to give the boots to the Palantir. You never
Yeah.
want to give the Teklo core,
No, you
but
can't give the Teklo
because
core.
yeah, but because if you needed to block out a Bloodsher, you probably have only boots and Teklo core left, and then okay, Palantir 1, Palantir 2,
That is a good
you have
reason
no equipment.
to use your equipment really early. Like you this is a matchup where you got to go fast. You want to
Mhm.
find your two processors and get your value off of drawing two of them with your boots as fast as possible. Um
Mhm.
cuz like I said, like she's just not going to be as fast as you. If this game
Yeah.
lasts 5 turns, then you're going to win.
The
If the
longer it
game
goes, the
lasts
worse
8 to
it
9
gets.
turns, yeah, exactly. Then the more turns this goes, your chances of losing go up drastically
Mhm.
like after 5 or 6 turns. But yeah, null time zone targets. This is actually really interesting. I see a lot of people who are very much into the idea of naming like zipper hit or 0 to 60, and then like if you have them in your hand, then you just let your null time zone die. But I don't really like that idea very much. I like having my null time zone around for longer. So maybe like a Jolly Bludger or a Palantir or a Soup Up are all good names.
Soup Up is a terrible name.
I've seen a lot of. I guess they can block with it, but I
Hey,
have seen
you can
people
always
running
block with
9.
it.
Yeah,
You can always block with it, so it's a block 4.
but even if you're running 9, then like you can't pitch with two of them. I've seen people on 9 soup
Yeah,
ups.
but even putting it in Arsenal is fine.
Hmm.
No, no. The thing is, at first you look at her chest. If it's our chest,
Yeah,
she is boost,
yeah,
and if she is boost, then she probably runs between 7 and 12 copper cocks.
yeah.
And I
Oh,
would just name copper cock.
oh, true. That's so true. Yeah, not being able to pitch or play a copper cog is really bad for her.
Yes.
Hmm.
So I would just say that. But if she's on pirate list, then I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, if you see
Cockroach
Tunic,
Zeppelin because it's a rainbow.
yeah,
Zipper hit obviously not because.
no, they won't be playing it. Yeah, Zeppelin versus a pirate. If you see Tunic, then it's pirate, most likely. Um, Okay, yeah, no, definitely Copper Cock. That makes a lot of sense. I agree with that. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
All right. Next matchup we got, I think, is the one that we disagree on. Where do you put Acilio at?
Um, I it's hard. On one hand, Auxilio blocks like nothing, but he can have his pop off turns.
Hmm.
I think I wouldn't put it in free, but I think we are slightly favored.
Oh, I think this is our freest matchup that we have. I don't think you can lose. I think this is easier than Kano, like by far, because Kano at
Okay.
least blocks. like, okay, so Kano, everything blocks for 3 except for his potions, but he doesn't really play the potions versus us. This deck doesn't block. It needs to set up. So you run a lean 60 into it, and you can name you Null Time Zone. You can either name Blast to Oblivion if you haven't seen any of those, because they run 6 of those, or you can name, if you've seen them play a Gone in a Flash and like put it back in Arsenal, you name Gone in a Flash. You can name Sigil of Brilliance. Like, Null Time Zone just absolutely wrecks this deck. Like, they literally can't do anything versus it.
Yeah, but they can wreck you before you played your Null Time Zone.
Well, that's why you
because I've seen you're on 2. I'm on 2 as well. And if I have like even if I have a spark, I will probably search a cerebellum and not a Null Time Zone.
I spark for Null Time Zone. If I see
Okay.
spark on turn 0, I'm gonna boost, spark, Null Time Zone, name Blast to Oblivion, Arsenal pass. Like, it just, they can't do anything versus it.
I mean, yeah, turn 0, obviously. I would agree there. But turn 1, like, you're still so fast. But well, now that I think about it, I actually agree with you. Yeah, just search for the Null Time Zone.
Yeah, it's
That's how you can lose.
Yeah, that's literally the only thing that they can do is that combo.
Is be faster than you. They can't block you out.
Yeah, but and like the thing is that there's other things that they can do, like against other decks, where it's like, oh, I bounce your aura because I have the Blast to Oblivion. It's like, this isn't an aura, this is an item, so nothing you can do about it. Like, it's literally here for 3 turns, and I'm saying that you can't combo for 3 turns, and this game is gonna last 4 turns. Like, that's the thing. Is every single turn that this is, like, I've had Null Time Zone up for the entire game multiple times, because it's like, if I see either that or Spark at the beginning of the game, I just go get that and name either Blast to Oblivion or Gone in a Flash, and like, it's there for the whole game, because if you ever boost a Fast and Furious, you just put another counter on it. It's like, they're like, oh, next turn I'm gonna be able to combo, and it's like, no, another counter. See you later. But yeah, no.
This is you see the matchup we have. Okay. Yeah. I can see where you're coming from.
It runs like 15 no blocks.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll talk about 2 more heroes here coming at you. We've got Jarl. Where would you put Jarl at?
I mean, for me, it's definitely in the hardest matchups.
Yeah, Jarl sits up here with the other 2 Guardians, winky face on Florian, but yeah, no, Jarl's tough, definitely. It's it's got the disruption. Oakenold is not an Oldham specialization for some reason. Yeah, Oakenold sucks. They gave him 3, so there's now 6 cards or 4 cards that double fuse with Oakenold with 1 card. Yikes. It blocks really well. The frostbites aren't actually that bad for us. But it
depends on your list where you're running. There are a lot of different deal lists.
Yeah.
We both like to run a lot of 0 costs.
Yeah.
So there it's not that bad. But if you are on 1 cost, if you are on 2 costs, Jarl just shuts you down.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, you really have to play around with breaking your equipment. They're also able to break your Teklo heart, which, if they ever get your heart, like, oh man, that's really a stab in the heart.
True Teklo heart gun.
Yeah, that one sucks.
I've had games like that. That's
yeah, definitely. But
and then there are like there are so many cards you hate. Like you always have to block out the frost fangs that come.
Frost fangs just suck. Yeah, those they run.
Channel like frigid card sucks.
Yeah, there's just so many cards that are bad. But on the other hand, they do run. If it's like more of an earth build, they do run a lot of 2 blocks. There are like lists out there that are trying to be a little bit more aggressive as Jarl, and if they're doing that, then I feel completely fine.
Yeah, probably. It's just when they are on an ice bed with like Blizzard and Winter Spy, they
Yeah.
just
That's kind of the issue. The main issue I have with playing against Jarl is they flip the hero and it's like I have no idea what you're going for. There's like so many different ways you can build this. There's so many different like avenues that you can take this, and it's like I have to run my full 70. Like no matter what, like you can fatigue me.
I mean,
So
I'm gonna be honest, if you're like on round 8, you're undefeated against Jarl, it could be positive if you just say, okay, I scoop and I scout out the
yeah, I
others.
don't. Yeah,
Don't even
that
play the matchup.
that might honestly be a good move. Honestly, like go watch the other games because wow. Okay, so we can actually put that one in free because because it's like okay, I lose, so it's free, so free for them. But yeah, no, I this is definitely a deck that is scary here. Definitely a
Mm.
good deck against
I mean,
us, but thankfully it also just gets dumpstered by Gravy. So and Verdance.
yeah, currently, but couldn't they like also destroy the compass with
They can destroy the compass. Yeah, that is true. Whenever they
and
destroy the
there's also
compass, they
like
can.
the new Guardian promo they could run, probably don't want to, but they could destroy the compass with that as well.
Yeah,
So
true.
yeah, but that's the thing.
Verdance
Like,
definitely kills
look
it.
at our worst matchups. Gravy like kind of fucks all of
Yeah,
them.
exactly. Gravy and Verdance both destroy all of these decks right
Uh-huh.
here. But we'll go into one last matchup that I would expect to see at either a Nats or Pro Tour, or any like above level 3 event. Vincent, where would you say Vincent is for you?
I think it's quite unfortunate when said because if you play with other decks, you can just you can often either fatigue them or block out the arcane damage. We don't really have that freedom, so he gets a lot of free value into us.
Yeah,
And he can also like run phase purgatory. That's really hard.
yeah, but I haven't
He
seen a
can
lot of them
fatigue
doing
us.
that.
Mhm. I think there are also a lot of bad players on it sometimes.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's probably a 50-50 overall. You can run into it's probably the one hero that sounds a little bit stupid, but where you can find weaker players on it, then it's quite okay. But it's definitely far away from free. You have to fight for it.
yeah, definitely. This matchup is really weird because while they can do, a 2 card 8 or like a 2 card 12, get rid of a card in your arsenal, they can also just draw a Runeblade hand and just lose, like based off of one hand that they draw, and they just lose the game. And if you
Well, the
ever
thing
get
is,
them to like 2 HP or 1 HP, and you can just completely turn off their hero ability, like they can no longer lose 1 life to either swing with their thing or give unpreventable, then they lose the game because they cannot play off of a 1 card hand. They cannot play off of a 0 card hand. There's nothing
that's
they can do.
that's the other thing. Yes, he can have bad hands, but I think we are probably like again, all his cards have a block value. So if he draws a hand that you just can't play, he can block with it, and he's probably not fine. But we will always attack with a lot unless we have bricked as well.
Yeah, I mean, but I think our brick hands are even better than their brick hands. Like, I think this is the one hero. Maybe this and Levia are the only heroes that have worse bricks than we do.
I mean, he has worse bricks if he has tempo,
Yeah,
right? When we blocked a lot and can't swing back. But the only way where we don't swing back is when we bricked.
yeah,
So
exactly.
his brick hand is actually only really a brick hand if we bricked first.
Yeah,
If we don't brick first, then even his brick hand is blocks and has value.
yeah. definitely like the most important thing is once they use their arm piece to make the two rune chants, then it's a totally new game. Before they use that
Mhm,
piece, the game is very close. It's very scary. That is like one of their best pieces of equipment to be able to come back, like block out, and then I can come back with this,
mhm,
and still like send like a one card, 8 or something like that with on hit or on hurt. But like after they use that piece of equipment, if you're above like 10 HP, like if it's like 11 to 12 or something and then they use it and you can manage to block that out, then I think you can start winning the game from there because
I
they
mean,
can't
that's
really
one
kill
thing.
you.
The other thing is what you really have to be mindful of is, I mean, you always run Achilles,
Yeah.
but you shouldn't default to say, okay, it's my arcane barrier piece, I will never flip it.
Yeah.
Because if you have the tempo, if you already see like, hey, I can put him in lethal range,
Yep.
and there is a spark of genius on top, just flick it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it depends on life totals definitely, but I definitely
Yeah.
agree with like you being able to tell whenever you should pop your boots in this matchup is
Hmm.
definitely like the hardest part about this entire matchup is like when do you pop your boots? Uh
Yes.
because like
It,
sometimes you pop boots on like turn 3, turn 4, and it's like I'm going to put you below.
that's so risky. That's, I
Well,
mean, I
well, it depends
agree,
on life
but
total. If you can put them below 5 HP, or you can swing lethal with popping these boots, then like I'm gonna pop the boots. But if it's like there's other times where it's like the game goes to turn 8 or 9, and it's like we're like neck and neck, just walking each other down, and you need to keep your boots because you need to be able to pitch the Teklo core to be able to block 3. Um, yeah. So it's definitely that's the most skill expressive part of this matchup. I think is when to pop the boots and when to not.
what would you name versus Vincent with Null Time
Oh
Zone?
my god. Okay, so there's one little card that they have. It's called Cole. Uh, that card absolutely destroys us. Because it's like they take 4 off of a zipper hit or 0 to 60, and then they just Cole, and it's like, oh wow, my turn's over. Or they Cole with like the last. We have one card left in hand. It's a max V, and they just Cole us.
But
There's
that's the
also
problem. Call can be played from Banish, and
only on
Null
their
Time
turn.
Zone
Only
doesn't
on their turn.
stop it. Yeah,
And if they're
okay,
calling us
fair.
on their turn, then that's more fine than them calling us on our turn.
I mean, it's still hard. Like,
Definitely, but also some
it,
are on 6 Malefic Incantation, which is also really like that's a card that they could potentially pitch, and also they could play it into,
mhm.
and that's like how they kind of start the ball rolling is whenever they play a Malefic.
I think not only some are on six, I think almost all are on six, and that would be my target,
Yeah,
Malefic Incantation.
that and then Shadow Puppetry is another one. You can't
Mhm.
name their attacks. You have to name the things that give go again, basically,
Yeah,
because they
the
don't really
things
pitch.
they can't play from Banish.
Yeah,
That's the thing you have to name.
yeah, Malefics, maybe Cole if they haven't seen any. But most of the time, I'm just running them because they can block 3 arcane. Um,
Hmm.
and also like it's a pistol, it's an extra pistol shot at the end of the game if I need it.
Yeah.
But it's not that good versus them. But I still run it because that they can fatigue us because they do have like 4 blocks. They have the one that makes a rune chant. They have like a lot of 3 blocks, but they also have a decent number of 2 blocks and everything.
Hmm.
I would definitely call this like a 50-50. This is definitely a skill matchup. Like if the Dio is bad and the Vincent is bad, or the Vincent is good, then Vincent wins 100%. If the Vincent is bad and the Dio is good, then Dio wins 100%. But this is definitely like a very skill intensive matchup that you need
Yeah,
to
that's.
be prepped for. This is kind of like Prism. Like you need to know
Mhm.
what to do. Like you need to know your outs.
Yeah, yeah. I completely agree here.
Yeah. All right, but that's all the heroes we're gonna talk about. All of these other heroes, you know, they're heroes. I'm not really expecting to see them at any of the top tables. Maybe Riptide. We've seen Riptide kind of get a little bit of maybe Valda, maybe Riptide. But
Mhm.
all these other heroes, I
Do
just
we
don't
want to
really
talk about
see.
the mirror or say it's just it's
Oh
a
well, that's
fucking mirror
definitely a
flip?
50-50. Yeah, go first and play your max V's faster. Get them.
Do you have any secret tech for the mirror or any secret strategies you want to use or something?
So this is definitely a place where you could null time zone and name like zipper hit or zero to hit. I don't, but I just don't play null time zone in this matchup. I
Mhm.
just run lean 60 and try to get my max V's as fast as possible. Um, the gear shift helps a lot, definitely. One extra point of HP is huge. Um, and then yeah, just like being able to block out their boom grenades, because there was actually a game where I played the mirror the other day, and I blocked with my whole hand the first two turns because they played a red boom grenade off the top both times. And then like once their boom grenades were gone, I was actually just able to like send all my stuff back at them. So there is actually times where like you can deny them.
That's actually interesting. That would be the first time where I'm completely on the opposite of you. I would always play Null Time Zone, uh, just to names Zipper Hit or like 0 to 60.
Yeah,
I think it's way too good because uh, you always name the card you currently don't need to pitch or play. And the following turn, if you draw them, you can just
not remove the counter. Yeah,
yeah, not remove the counter and thus destroying the null time zone.
yeah,
That's one thing. And also the Achilles, I want every time when I see either Max V or Spark on top, I want to be able to draw it. That's why I'm guaranteed on Achilles in that matchup and not on the key shifts.
yeah. So like for me, the one extra point of block is really good, but also if I know that
Yeah,
I'm
but you
going to
never want to
be
block them out
no,
normally.
but it is just one point of block. Like it is free to just like block one point. And also, so like the way that I think about it is the top of my deck is always every single card in my deck. There's never a point where it is exactly Spark or Max V whenever I draw up and I don't know what's gonna be the top of my deck. So if I know that I'm going to be able to either double processor or that I'm going to need to processor this turn, I just pop it at the beginning of the turn and I start off with the two action points because at the very worst it's 2 and 2, at the very worst. But like the top of my deck is never an exact card; it is always every card.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like you play uh, you play the cerebellum, uh, maybe on turn one, so it comes in with two counters or something, or later, and then you maybe the second item you find to play from top is a cerebellum as well.
Mm.
And then you don't want to spontaneously, like during the middle of your turn, activate your boots.
Oh, that's why I don't do
Just
it. I know
yeah,
that like this is the turn I'm doing it. I'm popping my boots at the beginning.
yeah, you want to do it at the beginning. But if I like have two boosts left and there's like one resource floating, I boost once. Oh, hey, a Max V. I can just pop it, draw the Max V, Teklo Foundry Heart, boost another time, send the Max V. I'm fine.
Yeah, well the thing is that even so, no matter what, you can't draw the first card because you need to boost first to be able to pop your boots. So whatever the very first, like you're looking at your 4 card hand, you look at the top, you're never able to draw that card, and that card is just as easily to be a max V as the second card from the top. So if I always start the turn like I know I'm going to be processing this turn, then I know that I'm popping the boots, and it's just as likely to be a max V from the very top card as it is the bottom, as the card below it. So
Mhm.
that's kind of my reasoning for it. And I really
Well,
do think that the 1 point of HP is actually that important.
well, I mean, we're in the aggro matchup where we always attack and get attacked. That means like the first card is always like a Crown of Providence target.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah. So if you see a Spark or a Maxi on top, which you could play, it's always something you use your Crown of Providence for, because there's not one on hit you would want to block, except for Heist.
Yeah, that card. Yeah, definitely gotta block the Heist. That card will beat you.
Yeah, but for Heist, like you still have like your Teklo Foundry Heart. You save it for
The
that
gloves.
with something. Yeah, and the gloves, and the matchup should be over before there are 3 Heists played.
Oh, definitely, yeah. You're not playing that many Heists. Hopefully, I mean, if you get double or triple Heisted, then dang, got high rolled. Especially if they have an item in Banish to be able to grab back from it as well. But yeah. Thanks, Flo, for coming out and talking about all the matchups that you might be seeing at your nationals or anything like that. Definitely a long one today, but I think people will really enjoy all of the conversation that we had about all the heroes, and like pretty much this is the whole meta. Basically we've got Verdance and Gravy at the top. Both probably the 2 best decks in the format, but luckily, kind of all the most popular decks right now are in this slightly favored to free to 50-50. So it looks like a good time to be playing Dio. Looks like a good time to be playing Flesh and Blood in general. I mean, a lot of the Nats we've been seeing very diverse top 8s, very diverse players up there, and it's just a great time. You got any closing statements you want to put out at the end here?
No, not really. I mean, it's just go out, play Flesh and Blood, have fun. A lot of the other podcasts don't really talk about Dio. They seem to disrespect it a little bit.
They really do.
I think a little bit. It seems like it. At least from those, they are talking like Gravy Bones or Cinder.
Yeah, Cinder.
Verdance.
Yeah.
That's the thing they are talking about, and I mean, that's like if you're a Dio player, you never want Dio to be in the spotlight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like we are so easy techable, so it's probably the best meta for Dio, probably since Dio came out.
Since High Octane ban.
Or since High Octane ban. Yeah, sure. Since that, obviously.
Yeah. High Octane ban plus Cerebellum Processor was a good deck. But yeah, I agree. This is definitely the best time to be on Dio and to be able to get reps as her. And also into her, because I mean she's tied for 3rd with the highest win rates of all the all the heroes in Nats so far. So she's doing well.
And there's the last thing. She is the 3rd best, despite some people running Cog in the Machine.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Cog in the Machine.
Do you want to talk about this for 5 minutes?
Yeah, we can give a little Cog in the Machine rant here. So, like, here's the thing with Cog in the Machine. The very best thing you can do with Cog in the Machine is have 3 of them plus a blue, and you have 4 cards left in your deck. So what happens whenever that happens? You go plus an action point. So you go to 3 action points you go to 4 action points every single turn, and you also load up your pistol every single time. So you pitch a blue, load your pistol back all the way up, and then you go 2, 2, 2, 2. You strip every single card from their hand. Only if they are at 2 or less life, and you have not boosted any of them away, and you don't have to block. So, like, with all 3 of these things, it just doesn't work versus the fatigue, because the math just doesn't check out. You have to be above 15 life. You have to have these exact 4 cards left. So you can't have boosted them. Like, you're not going to not play your max V because you see a Cog in the Machine on top. It also doesn't crank from the top. It can, if you have a processor out, it can give you the extra action point to process that turn, like earlier in the game. But then, like, I don't know. You can't
use a card to draw a card.
Yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's the one thing, and the other, it's so hard to go down to exactly uh, like those three plus a blue. If you're on 7 cards left, you have 2 of them in hand and maybe a boost, and the next card you see on top is a cock in the machine, so you can't play the boost, and
Yeah. It's really hard to get an exact number of cards left in your deck. Or
I
an
mean,
exact type of cards left in your
the
deck.
only way you can try it is if you also play like the optical monocle,
Optical
but
Monocle
that's
does help it, yeah.
yeah, but that's a card you don't really want to play.
There
It
are some
doesn't
people
crank.
who like that card a lot, but I'm not a big fan of it,
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't do anything when you play it. It doesn't crank. You want to see it from the top. And then also, it doesn't directly represent more numerical value um, directly, like a dominate would present
Exactly,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah. No, I agree with that 100%. But yeah, thank you Flo
Yeah,
for coming out, taking your afternoon out there in Switzerland to talk to me about it. Talk about
yeah,
Dio
it was a pleasure.
for however long we just talked. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. If you made it this far, please leave a like and subscribe. Like that would I'm impressed that you've made it this far. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.
Peace.